Hartford's mayor is fighting to clear his name at the center of a corruption trial. He is charged with accepting bribes and trying to extort $250,000 from a developer. He has pleaded not guilty. Here for a closer look at the trial is attorney Steve Milikowski of Collins, Deans and Milikowski and attorney Ryan McGuigan of Rome McGuigan. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Thanks for having us.
If we could start off with what your analysis is of what have been the highlights of the trial thus far.
I would say up to this point, well, certainly if the mayor decides to testify, that's going to be the highlight.
Right.
But up to this point, I have to go with the testimony of Carlos Costa. He's the contractor and owner of USA Contractors, and he's the one who did the work on the mayor's home without receiving payment, did about $40,000 worth of kitchen and bathroom renovations. And the allegation is that he did that with no expectation of getting paid in return for getting the contracts. And at the same time, there were a lot of problems with the contracts, and it's alleged that the mayor was protecting him.
And you thought that his testimony was strong? Is that what you're saying?
I believe it was. Yeah, I believe it was. And that combined with a testimony from the police investigation where the mayor was interviewed, and during that interview allegedly lied about whether he paid the contractor, and along with the fact that the mayor then went ahead, I think the day of the police interview, and then went to apply for a mortgage, so at that point he can pay for the renovations, which was 2 years after he should have paid.
Right. Ryan, how do you think that the defense has been handling it?
They started their defense on Wednesday, and they're trying to poke holes into the state's case. But really, what I believe their strategy is going to be is to explain why the mayor did not pay for the remodeling in a timely fashion, and also explain why he answered the way that he did in the tape recording with Inspector Sullivan. And I think that is going to be their strategy. That has to be their strategy. And they're going to have to make the mayor's explanation of his misstatements believable to the jury.
Do you think that, saying that he was preoccupied, he was concerned, he was worried about his wife, I don't know, do you think that a jury is going to buy that?
Oh, well, that brings us to the question of whether or not he's going to testify, and I think that he'll need to testify to be able to explain that to the jury, that his concern and preoccupation with his wife's illness in 2006 led him to forget to pay for the remodeling, and I think he will testify. And I think that there's two reasons. Is because of the misstatements with the tape recording, he has to explain why he thought that he had paid for them at that point. And we all forget things, and he is a seasoned politician, and he is a very convincing person. He's not your normal criminal defendant. He has the best legal team that money can buy, and I think that they will prepare him for it, and I think he'll testify and be as convincing as he can. And the second reason is a political reason, that his constituents want to hear from him. They want to hear his explanation, and people are forgiving, and if it's believable, then he has a political life, and if it's not, then I don't think he will.
I happen to agree that he has some explaining to do, certainly a bribery case. He has some explaining to do. But in analyzing whether or not he should testify, it's my opinion that the risk would probably outweigh the reward, because for him to get his message across, he's subject to a cross-examination by the prosecutor. And if it's anything like his police interview went, he's going to have a problem. From what I understand, he was nervous, anxious, wasn't believable, provided information that otherwise he didn't have, and he got caught in a lie. And if you get caught in a lie when you're under oath, one, it's perjury, and two, you're done. So as far as a bribery case, yeah, I think he has some explaining to do, but I think it would be a high risk. As far as a larceny case, I really don't think he should testify, which raises an interesting issue, because what's happening now is there's a whole discussion about how he's forced to either testify in both cases or in neither case, because the cases have been consolidated. This trial is actually two separate arrests, which for the interest of judicial economy have been consolidated into one trial. And it really interferes with his right to testify on his own behalf or not in each separate case.
But why do you think he should testify in one and not the other?
Because the strength of the bribery case is much stronger than the larceny case. as Attorney McGuigan indicated, he has some explaining to do in the bribery case. The larceny case, the whole strength of the case up to this point has been that allegedly he made and directed somebody from his office to tell a developer, hey, before you can purchase a lot, you got to take care of Abe Giles. What does that mean, take care of Abe Giles? Mm-hmm. And then just today, there was some testimony that the person who allegedly told the developer that doesn't recall ever being instructed to do so. So I don't think the strength of the larceny case would warrant putting him on the stand. The bribery case, that could go either way, but I would lean towards not having him testify based on how he performed in the police interview.
Right, I know that Hubert Santos has been trying to get these two cases separated, isn't that right? Right.
He absolutely should. In fact, I believe that if the mayor's convicted, he may have grounds for an appeal because the interests of judicial economy, though important, should not outweigh the ability of a defendant to testify on his own behalf.
Ryan, you were saying that you think that this will go on for a good another week at least?
A week and a half. And
Based
then it will
on...
go just a lot of years of doing this.
Yeah. You know, I had mentioned to Steve in past conversations that in covering the trial that I've noticed the jury makeup is a lot of women, which to me, I mean, I'm stereotyping here, but I was surprised at because I think of women as more on the straight and narrow, and they're not going to be forgiving of some guy who says, well, maybe I'm going to pay you, you do this for you, I'll do this for you, you do this for me, whereas a man might say, I don't know. And obviously I'm extremely stereotyping, but I don't know, can we talk about how the jury makeup might lead this case one way or the other?
I'm not a big advocate of stereotypes when it comes to jury selection, especially in the state of Connecticut. And the reason I say that is because Connecticut's one of the few states in the country where instead of a group voir dire, and what voir dire is, it's an examination by the attorneys of the jurors, they have individual voir dire, so the attorneys have the opportunity to talk to each juror individually and find out everything about that juror's life experiences and how it might affect their decision in the trial. So, you know, Attorney Santos, who's an excellent attorney, and the prosecutor, Michael Gaylor, who's an excellent attorney, they knew what to ask. I mean, you know, this is a trial about government corruption, so I'm sure they ask questions about other cases similar in Connecticut, you know, Weicker or whoever. And this is a trial about contractors, so the opportunity to ask about, you know, what experiences we had with contractors and politicians and get to know these people. So, yeah, there's, I think, 7 women and 2 men, but I don't think it's too much of a factor.
Ryan, if you were a betting man, would you would you make a prediction on how this is going to go?
I don't drink, I don't gamble, and I don't carouse around at night.
Yeah.
No, I would not be in a position to be putting money on this or horses.
All right, and y'all are going to be watching it, though, I guess?
It is going to be high drama. This is the kind of stuff that lawyers live for. It is something that I certainly, if he does choose to testify, I'd love to be there.
Right.
It'll be crowded.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get my own seat. Thanks, both of you, for being here. I really appreciate it. Good comments today, good discussion. Don't forget, if you missed something here on The Real Story, you can now watch it online by going to fox61.com. You can also catch us on YouTube. And don't forget to Facebook friend me at Lori Perez, WTIC. We'll see you here again next week. Thanks again for watching this week's edition.